there ain't no stopping us. Fly without boarding pass. Couldn't catch me, I'll be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar. Wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star.
Changing out standard GM headlights that come with an 05 Dodge Magnum SXT, to be specific, 3.5 liter V6, and putting in Spec-D Halo L.E.D headlights. There's 3 areas that you got to take care of in order to get the front bumper of your 05 Dodge Magnum off. So the first thing you're going to want to do is I believe there's 10 screws at the bottom. I think there's 7mm. Sorry, they look just like that. So, you know, inspect them, make sure they're not too corroded. If they're too corroded, you might want to replace them. You come to the side, and there's these splash covers that go all inside your wheel well, right? And there are 3 tabs. This one I haven't completely removed yet, because when you take these out, a lot of people don't know, but they're one-time use, and they will bust up and you have to go buy more. So there are 3 tabs on each side. So there's 1, 2, 3. Those connect to the bumper on the side. And I'll show you the replacements we got at Napa. Me and my dad. It doesn't match exactly. Let me get some sunlight here. Doesn't match exactly, but these are the tabs that most closely fit. There's the number if you want it. There's 7 pieces, we need 6. Hopefully we won't damage any or have any problems. It says Toyota Mazda, but we just looked it up in Napa's book and tried to match those plastic push tabs as close as we could. There are 4 more bolts to attaching the bumper, and they are right under here. They are 10mm. They are kind of hard to get to. You have to kind of pull this thing out to reach in there and get to those holes. Now your bumper's just basically hanging by 6 tabs along the top. Your bumper's hanging off of here, and these tabs are here. You just need a flat head screwdriver to lift this part up, and then you should be able to pull that up, and then this thing, the rest of it should just come right out. Inspect them, make sure they're serviceable. If they're torn apart and looks like they won't be holding the bumper on after you reinstall it, then you probably want to replace those too. The entire front grille and bumper area has to come off. Each headlight is held in by 2 screws. So you have one location here and then a second location up here. These are the LED lights that come with the Spec-Ds. The Spec-D high beam and low beam bulbs already come pre-installed. Your parking light, and then a very small light on the side over here are on your existing vehicle that will plug into the back. Black and white wires that you see pretty much everywhere are all the LED lights. So here's the bank of 3. They go into these relays here and there, and then those wires go to the LED light here, and then the LED lights at the bottom here and here. You gotta tie all the whites together. This is the job that me and my dad did. So on the LED lights, you put all the whites together, put all the grounds together, and then Spec-D sends these alligator clips to connect them to your existing parking lights. After electrical testing, what we found is that this little harness for the parking light and this little tiny bulb here for the top comes off of your existing wiring harness on your 05 Dodge Magnum, and you'll see, if I can get it around here, this is where it plugs in, and there's some brown wires. There's two brown wires because there's two lights, and then there's a hot. Well, the brown wire is the hot, and that's what you obviously clip the black grounds from the LEDs into the ground on this loom, and then the whites go to the brown hot. You got to test that to make sure you're getting, you know, anywhere from 11.5 to 12 volts. And what we did is we used some liquid tape instead of some regular electrical tape. We wanted to make sure that everything was solidly sealed so that absolutely no moisture could get inside of those clips to prevent corrosion and shorts and stuff like that. Put a couple coats on just to make sure. This is for your high beam and low beams, and those are what, so there's 1, 2, and then 3 plugs that will plug into these 3 right here. My force does not awaken without coffee. Gratuitous coffee shot there. So just to give you an idea, here's the old standard GM headlight, and as you can see all along the top, they're pretty old. Moisture's gotten inside, the bulbs keep burning out, and there's mold, and you know, the lenses are all fogged up. So when your parking lights are on, these rings are gonna light up like futuristic spaceship awesomeness. Oh, I gotta show you guys this. You see this right here? This is a brand new female plug. When you take all this apart, you want to inspect every piece of wire and every plug to make sure that things are serviceable, that there's nothing wrong. Okay. Here's the old versus the new. And what I did is just comes with a black and a red wire, obviously. You know, it doesn't exactly match up to the original loom, but what I did is use 2 butt connectors, and you know, black to black is obviously ground, and there's only one other wire option, so that should work. And then of course I plugged all the holes with liquid tape. You just want to double check and make sure all your lights that twist in are locked in the correct position. There's no label on this one, this gray one, but there's a label on the tan one. And it says H1, which I'm assuming means high beam. So we go over here, here's the original one on the other side. No markings on that side. No markings on that side. Here's where the 3-prong one plugs in. Basically just plugs in and you snap that down to lock it. And then here's the other one. It has an H1 on the end of it. So I'm pretty confident that the one that says H1 is going to be the high beam. So I've got them plugged in. 1, 2, and 3. What I did with this one that we had to replace is I put the wire back in the protective shielding, and you can see where my butt connectors are kind of sticking out there and separating it. And I think what I'm going to do is take all of these and just put a little bit of tape around the ends here and here and here, just to make sure that everything's secured. Here's what the new plug and where the butt connectors were that go into the shielding. I think I've got that wrapped up pretty nice. And then of course the third one down here, just to keep everything a little secure. So now we're gonna leave the headlight out and I'm gonna test it. And I'm gonna turn the parking lights on, just to the parking lights. we're going to turn the headlights on. Oh, I guess we do have, oh geez, I just blinded myself. Here. See if that works. Okay, I had the high beams on. So there's the low beams. So now we're going to do the blinker. We're going to act like we're turning right. You see all this tangle of wires around here? We want to kind of clean that up. We're going to take some small zip ties. Harbor Freight, great place to shop, cheap for stuff like this. I think, you know, a couple bucks for a pack of 50 or something like that. And we're going to take all this mess of wires and zip tie them so that they're all bunched up nice and neat. This little tab right here, that's the nub that is supposed to fit inside here and kind of stabilize it and hold it. So there's only 2 bolts, screws, whatever, that hold the headlight on. There's where 1 bolt goes, and there's where the 2nd bolt goes. These are 8mm heads. Make sure you don't over tighten them, possibly strip them. Just snug them down. Once you feel them tighten up, I'd say maybe another half a turn at the most. It's got this rubber gasket along the top. It's obviously to keep moisture from going under the hood, and the seal is not perfect. I mean, these are aftermarket headlights. So you can see right here, you see there's a big gap where that rubber gasket should be pushing up against the body of the car. And then there's a big gap in the corner there. I suppose I could find some more gasket material and shove in these cracks to get a better seal. So we got everything hooked up on the driver's side light. So we're gonna go and start the car and test that one now. Awesome, so we got the light here, the parking light there, the parking light there. So far so good. Should be the low beams. Yep, there's the low beam. Oh yeah. You definitely tell what's low and what's high. We're going to be turning left. I just hung the bumper on and I've not attached anything. So I've just fitted it on there. Fitted it. And like I said earlier, these little snaps will go in here. There's 6 of them. That's what the tabs look like when they're in. On to the next. Just to give you an idea how hard an angle this is, there's some holes and bolts back there. That's where I got to reach with the 10mm ratchet to put this side of the bumper on. Okay, finally got them both in. Now we're gonna line these holes up here and put our 3 tabs in, but they're in. On to the other side. We're underneath the car, and we got our last 10 bolts that we're gonna be putting in. Should go pretty quick, and then we'll be done. Yay! If I helped someone, then give the video a thumbs up or a like.